A trade war just exploded at the border. In a move that's sending shockwaves through the White House, the United States has doubled down on massive steel tariffs, sparking a furious response from Canada and threatening to tear a hole in the American economy. This isn't just another political spat you can ignore. This is a high-stakes economic war between America's closest ally and largest trading partner. The fallout is already becoming severe. From the sprawling auto plants in Detroit facing a sudden cost crisis, to a supply chain nightmare brewing for critical Pentagon defense contractors, the consequences are cascading faster than anyone predicted. We are talking about a deeply integrated, nearly $900 billion economic relationship being tested like never before. But what does this really mean? It's not just about abstract numbers. This is about jobs, the price of everything from your next car to a can of soup, and a fundamental reshaping of power in North America. Today, we're breaking down the top 10 shocking impacts of this unprecedented steel showdown. We're going deep into the factories, the boardrooms, and the halls of power to show you exactly what's at stake. You won't believe what's at number one. So how did we get here? How did the world's longest undefended border suddenly become the front line of a brutal economic conflict? This didn't happen in a vacuum. It began with a decision from the Trump administration that rattled global markets. Citing national security concerns under Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act, the White House took an existing 25% tariff on Canadian steel and aluminum, and on June 4, 2025, doubled it to a staggering 50%. Now, this wasn't a surgical strike aimed only at Canada. It was a global broadside, hitting countries all over the world with the stated goal of protecting and rebuilding America's domestic manufacturing base. The administration argued that decades of unfair trade practices had hollowed out American industry, and that this aggressive move was necessary to level the playing field. But for Canada, this was seen as an existential threat. The Canadian steel industry is a cornerstone of their national economy, and the U.S. is its biggest customer by far, buying about 50 to 60% of all its steel exports. A 50% tariff isn't just a tax, it's a door slammed shut, as one Canadian industry leader put it. For many producers, it makes selling to the U.S. market completely impossible. The response from Ottawa was swift and severe. This wasn't the usual tit-for-tat slap on the wrist. Instead of just matching tariffs, Canada went for the jugular. On March 13, 2025, Canada slapped a 25% retaliatory surtax on nearly $30 billion worth of American goods, hitting everything from U.S. steel products to household items. They didn't halt their own exports, but they made it clear they were willing to inflict maximum pain in return. This move by Canada is an enormous escalation. They are making a high-stakes bet that the pain inflicted on the U.S. economy will be so great, so immediate, and so politically damaging that Washington will be forced back to the negotiating table. It's a move born of desperation, but also one of strategic calculation. Canada is weaponizing its economic leverage, and in doing so, has triggered a full-blown crisis that now threatens to spiral out of control. The impact, top 10 countdown. Number 10, the auto industry's nightmare. The North American auto industry isn't three separate industries. It's a single, deeply integrated organism. Parts and materials can cross the U.S. and Canadian borders multiple times before a single vehicle rolls off the assembly line. At the very heart of this intricate dance is steel. It's the skeleton of every car, truck, and SUV. And for decades, American automakers have relied on a steady, just-in-time flow of high-quality Canadian steel. That flow hasn't stopped, but the 50% tariff has made it prohibitively expensive. The impact is a multi-billion-dollar panic attack for the auto sector. The immediate problem is a frantic scramble to deal with skyrocketing costs. It's not as simple as just calling up a different company. Automakers use highly specialized grades of steel, engineered for specific levels of strength and weight. Finding a new supplier who can provide the exact same specs in massive quantities and get it certified is not something that happens overnight. This creates chaos on the factory floor. An unexpected price shock for a core material like steel can bring production planning to a grinding halt. While major automakers haven't announced permanent closures, industry analysts are warning that temporary shutdowns are a serious risk. The cost of idling a modern auto plant can run into millions of dollars a day. But the bigger, more painful impact will be felt by you. The laws of supply and demand are brutal. With a major source of steel now exorbitantly expensive, domestic U.S. steel producers can and will raise their prices. That cost increase gets baked directly into the price of a car. Analysts have warned for months that these tariffs could add hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to the sticker price of a new vehicle. This isn't just about new cars becoming a luxury item. It's a vicious cycle where protecting one industry inflicts serious damage on another, much larger one. Number 9. Pentagon's Achilles heel. When we think of national security, we think of soldiers and fighter jets, not supply chains. But the Pentagon does. And right now, officials are facing a startling new reality. A trade dispute with America's closest ally is creating a tangible threat to the U.S. military's industrial base. Like the auto industry, the defense industry relies on a deeply integrated North American network. For years, Canada has been designated a secure supplier of military-grade steel and aluminum, essential for everything from an Abrams tank to an F-35 fighter jet. This relationship was so trusted that Canada was considered part of America's own domestic defense capacity. The notion that Canada could pose a national security threat was, as Prime Minister Trudeau once said, inconceivable. Yet here we are. The very national security justification used for the Section 232 tariffs is ironically causing a genuine national security vulnerability. With Canadian steel now 50% more expensive, Pentagon contractors are facing a dual crisis: cost and stability. First, cost. Defense analyst David Perry has noted that when input prices for materials like steel go up, the price of the finished product inevitably follows. This means taxpayers either pay more for military hardware, or the Pentagon is forced to buy less of it, potentially delaying modernization and hurting military readiness. Second, stability. The tariff creates massive uncertainty in a supply chain that was once rock solid. It forces contractors to question the reliability of sourcing from a partner that could be subject to sudden, politically motivated tariffs. This trade war has peeled back the curtain, revealing a critical dependency that was long taken for granted. It shows how economic policy can create an Achilles heel where no one thought to look for one, not on a battlefield, but in a trade dispute with a friend. Number 8, the construction crunch. Look around any American city and you'll see the skeleton of the economy, steel. It's in the foundations of our homes, the I-beams of our skyscrapers, and the girders of our bridges. The construction sector is the single largest consumer of steel in the country, and its foundation is now under immense strain. The 50% tariff on Canadian steel creates a massive cost shock for an industry already wrestling with a volatile market. The United States imports about a quarter of the steel it needs, and Canada has historically been the largest single supplier. Suddenly making that supply 50% more expensive throws the economics of every construction project into chaos. First, existing projects are thrown into jeopardy. A large-scale project operates on a razor-thin margin. When the price of your main material skyrockets overnight, it can blow a hole in the budget. Developers have an impossible choice: absorb the massive cost increase or halt the project, leaving a half-finished structure as a monument to the trade war. Second, future projects are put on ice. The uncertainty itself is toxic. How can a developer greenlight a billion-dollar project when they have no idea what steel will cost in 6 months? This chilling effect means fewer jobs for construction workers, electricians, and engineers, and delayed improvements to our crumbling public infrastructure. The dream of an American infrastructure boom is colliding with the harsh reality of a self-inflicted supply chain crisis. For the construction industry, the ground beneath their feet has suddenly become much less stable. Number 7, energy pipelines in peril. Beneath our feet lies a circulatory system vital to the nation's economy, a vast network of pipelines carrying oil and natural gas. That network is built from highly specialized, high-strength steel, much of which has historically been sourced from Canada. The Trump administration has championed a policy of American energy dominance, but the steel tariffs are creating a powerful headwind, making new pipelines more expensive and harder to complete. Building a pipeline requires specific types of steel pipe, that can withstand immense pressure. These aren't off-the-shelf products. When a key cost-effective supplier is suddenly hit with a 50% tariff, it sends shockwaves through the entire energy sector. Midstream companies, the businesses that build these pipelines, now face a difficult choice. Do they absorb the dramatically higher costs of sourcing steel? Or do they delay or cancel projects altogether? This creates a direct conflict in policy. On one hand, the goal is to unleash American energy. On the other, the trade policy is making it significantly more expensive to build the infrastructure to do so. The consequences extend beyond company balance sheets. Higher construction costs can lead to higher transportation fees, which can ultimately mean higher prices for you at the gas pump and on your utility bills. It also impacts America's strategic goals. The expansion of LNG exports to supply our allies depends on new pipelines. Jeopardizing these projects could undermine America's role as a global energy supplier. The path to energy dominance, it turns out, is paved with steel, and that pavement just got a lot more expensive. Number 6, American farmers and your own wallet. We're just getting to the heart of our list, and the impacts only get bigger from here. We're about to dive into how this trade war is landing a direct blow on American farmers and your own wallet. This is the kind of in-depth analysis you won't get from the mainstream media. If you're getting value from this breakdown, do us a huge favor and hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. It's free and it tells YouTube that this is the kind of content people want to see. Your support is what allows us to keep digging deep. Now let's get back to it. Go to part 2.